Okay, team number 8. This is Black Forest Mushrooms from Everett, Washington, affiliated with North Seattle College, and also military affiliation with the U.S. Air Force. Please welcome Black Forest Mushrooms.
I hate mushrooms. They taste awful, and the texture is even worse. These are statements I've heard from countless individuals. And as a kid, I've even said them to my own parents. Despite this, pop culture is falling in love with mushrooms. So, what the fungai's going on? I began to wonder, why do we have such a love-hate relationship with these fantastic fungi? The answer is simple. Gourmet mushrooms are hard to find. If found, they're poor quality, and imported mushrooms impact climate change. Local mushroom cultivators cannot keep up with the rapidly growing demand, leaving demand largely unfilled. Imported mushrooms create excessive air freight emissions and long delivery times that result in low quality and less nutritious mushrooms. Additionally, imports contribute to the use of single-use plastic packaging that ends up in our local landfills. This means fresh mushrooms are not accessible to our entire community, especially vulnerable communities. And those who do get them typically receive old mushrooms. Gross. However, there is a better way. Black Forest Mushrooms cultivates gourmet mushrooms in hyper-localized urban farms that help fight climate change and strengthen our local food supply chain. We achieve this by completely eliminating air freight emissions and single-use plastic packaging in our landfills. This reduces waste to our local landfills, our impact on climate change, and delivery time. We deliver our mushrooms in a matter of hours instead of days, and sometimes even weeks. Simultaneously, we increase nutritional value, quality, variety, accessibility, and we strengthen our local food supply chain. Black Forest Mushrooms is the craft brewery of mushroom farming, cultivating mushrooms and communities. We bring hyper-local mushrooms directly to markets, homes, and businesses from farm to fork, or should I say, fungi to fork. We focus on education and community outreach in an effort to gain a lifetime customer over just a single purchase. Our mushrooms retail at $22 to $32 a pound. This variable price range allows us to best support vulnerable communities that have the greatest need for highly nutritious meals. Currently, we are producing 600 pounds of mushrooms with a clear growth plan to reach over 6,000 pounds per month. The current mushroom industry in the United States is growing at 9.4% compounding year over year. I'm sure you can attest that that would be a good 401k return, right? Well, North America makes up less than 5% of the entire global demand. This positions Black Forest mushrooms in an industry with rapid, unmet growth and a market primed for one of the largest growth opportunities. Even in a high-demand industry, it takes the right team to achieve success. As a United States Air Force veteran with farming experience, a member of the Shepherd Project cohort, and a student graduating this summer with a bachelor's in international business and entrepreneurship, I have the knowledge, experience, and the support system to lead Black Forest to strengthen our local food supply chain. I founded the company in 2022 and have been working full-time to bring the company from MVP to scale. The company has hired our first full-time employee this month and aims to hire at least 3 more employees this year. I have spent the last few years building a team of mentors and advisors to help navigate the road of entrepreneurship. Each one offers specific insights into their field of expertise, allowing Black Forest to tap into a wealth of knowledge that far exceeds hundreds of years of collective experience. Our adventure has only just begun. Our first sale was in June of 2022, just a few months ago. Since then, we have sold out farmers markets. We have acquired a warehouse, and we aim to open our new CEA farm, Controlled Environment Agriculture farm, by the end of the summer. If awarded the grand prize of the Vibe Business Plan competition today, $6,000 would be applied to equipment necessary to scale our production, while $9,000 would be used to onboard new employees. This would create 3 new jobs immediately, support 2 existing employees, and assist us in reaching a 10x on our current mushroom production capacity within the next 6 months, and boost nutritional value for over 24,000 meals every month following our scaled production. So this should leave you with one question. How do I become a fun guy? Thank you. I appreciate you coming with me on that. Judges, I respectfully request your vote for Black Forest mushrooms in today's competition. And to our incredible audience today, I have one big ask. If you have connected with any part of what I've said today, our mission or what we stand for, please help us spread our spores and connect with us in sharing Black Forest mushrooms on social media. So, if you're on a hike one day and you look up to a particularly dark forest, heavy with mist, and feel an undeniable connection with something wild, take a deep breath and know that you've made it. Welcome to the Black Forest. Thank you. Happy to answer any questions. I was like a little nervous. Can you just tell? I was a little shaky. Thank you.
I got a couple questions.
All right, fire away. Thanks, David.
So first one, do you grow the mushrooms? And if you do, where do you do them? And what's the size of that farm?
Farm is right. That's half of what we do is educate. So yeah, I mean, people are very interested to realize that we grow all indoor climate controlled. That's that CEA, Controlled Environment Agriculture aspect of what we do.
And so that's the warehouse would be then your new farm.
Correct. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I started in my garage. I was only allowed to use half. And then I slowly, as an entrepreneur, kind of took over my girlfriend's side of the garage. So I've gone from only producing about 300 pounds, and we're now scaling up to about 600 pounds a month.
And then, and then your goal is, or your projection is about 6,000 pounds a month.
Correct.
So that's about 100 times more than what you're doing right now, right? So what does your projection for scalability, will that continue to allow you to be able to have the emissions and the environmental aspect of all that as well?
Absolutely, that's absolutely at the core, and that's a really great question. It's something that's very hard to dive into in 7 minutes, by all means. So that's that hyper-local aspect of what we do, right? So we, instead of doing what, and I won't say the name of the company, but there's one company in particular that's been in the news about mushroom cultivation, and I look up to them. I think they're doing incredible work. However, they've made one big failure, and it's the same failure that every other company is doing, specifically in the mushroom industry. They put 1, 2, or in their case, 3 different facilities over the course of the entire United States or whatever country that they're supporting. Well, in the meantime, they're still not solving the problem. 80 to 90% of our gourmet mushrooms that we eat here in the United States are imported from China. And so by the time that they harvest the mushrooms, put them on a plane, air freight them over, they get to a distribution center and then get to the store, that's days and weeks worth of time. They're also wrapped in single-use plastics. And those end up in our landfills. We're not shipping it back to China, not anymore, not. So in that case, there's a lot of things that we're checking off the list. And that's something that they're also contributing to, just in a different way. Now, to answer your question, the way we resolve that is we go hyper-local. So we hit 6,000, 8,000 pounds is what we're estimating to be our absolute max for this new warehouse that we've already acquired, and we're starting construction soon. In doing that, we're not gonna scale much more in that location, because then at that point, we're gonna go open another location, again, hyper-local. Ideally, I'd like to be within an electric bike ride of all of my vendors and all of my markets. I also have deposits down on 2 electric vehicles from Canoe, which specifically put entrepreneurs first in their business. So then even if we are driving, it's gonna be short distances, electric vehicles, renewable energy, and of course they'll recharge on our own grid once we're set up.
And then real quick.
I appreciate it, that's a really good question.
List of the types of mushrooms you grow.
Yeah, mostly psychedelic.
Oh, nice.
I'm joking. I'm completely joking. Everybody's thinking it, so I figured I'd address it. So we start out with the fast fruiting mushrooms. So these are most of your oyster mushrooms and lion's mane. And lion's mane, if you haven't heard about lion's mane now, you have to be living under a rock, even if you don't. Thank you. We're going to talk afterwards. We got to do a collab or something. So we're focusing on that because, again, my current space where I'm putting out 600 pounds a month is less than 500. No, it's 460 square feet. I'm putting out 600 pounds a month. So imagine what I can do with 2,500 to 3,000 square feet, which is about the size of my warehouse. Yeah. Thank you for the great questions.
I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
For distribution, I'm not really clear where, other than farmers market, which you mentioned, what other avenues of distribution would you have?
Yeah, so our farmers market, and then we'll also do select hyper-localized home delivery, so our DTC factor. However, the farmers markets, our retail storefront, which will open with the warehouse, which is gonna be in a downtown walkable area. There's about 20 apartment buildings, and all of them have over 100 units. So those are a few points just for the DTC, but that only makes up 25% of our projections. 75% is gonna be B2B, business to business. And so those are gonna be our big ones. I actually just sat down with the owner of South Fork Bakery. They are under construction and opening on the waterfront in Everett. They have a full-size bakery and cafe that's going in with an 8-foot case, and they focus on savory baked goods. And so what we're able to do is actually fill a demand that she is struggling to fill, which is a vegan, vegetarian options. Even if you're not a vegetarian or vegan, everybody's trying to eat more vegetables, but nobody really wants to taste the vegetables. The difference is our mushrooms being delivered in a matter of hours, you actually finally enjoy mushrooms. You don't get that slimy texture, you don't get anything like that. So she's actually, we're resolving a pain point for her, a true pain point. She cannot spend money with us fast enough. She's like, when can I get them? I need to start testing. I want to start baking this stuff in. She's like, I don't care, whatever I have to pay. I will pay retail price if it means that I can get these in here and actually develop a product that no other bakery in the area is providing. Because otherwise you're on button and portobello mushrooms, which, sure, they have nutritional value, but at the end of the day, they don't have the same oomph as the gourmet mushrooms. Does that answer your question?
Can I just follow up? And so mostly to restaurants, is that what you're thinking, or
Correct.
Other, okay.
Yeah,
so
75% would be B2B, which is gonna be mainly those restaurants, certain retailers, like more of kind of the boutique places that wanna sell like our grow kits. This would be considered like a grow kit, where somebody can actually take this home, cut it open, and have them grow.
So you're also selling grow kits, not
Correct.
just, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Our bread and butter is definitely the raw mushrooms, though. Yeah.
I had a very similar question,
Sure.
You've addressed a lot of it. I'd say this is probably the most comprehensive business plan
Thank you.
that I've seen today.
Yeah, keeping thought so too.
Can you walk me through just kind of your growth, your revenue projections and everything? Does it seem pretty robust? Can you walk me through that?
Yeah, was there something specific that I can answer? Because I can definitely dive into a lot of detail.
Let's deal with revenue. So this revenue seems to be climbing up pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So this really just comes back down to the demand. we're selling out. We've got a significantly high demand. The current cultivators in the area are selling out. China can't ship them over fast enough. Comes back down to not only just raw mushrooms, but also value-added products. You've got tons of powders, all sorts of things. So being able to scale up and meet this demand of 6,000 pounds is absolutely no problem, because we have, to the north is Cascadia mushrooms. They're putting out about 8,000 pounds of just shiitake and still selling out. And that's in a less populated area. They're charging about what we charge. And we're in a much higher populated area with a lower supply. And so for us to be able to, and I understand, increasing by 100% or 150% production, or in this case, going from 600 to 6,000 pounds, I completely understand that that is abnormal. However, with the demand in the market, as I showed on one of the other slides too, we won't have any problem meeting it. And that's what we're seeing both not only at farmers markets. I have businesses knocking down, I have farmers markets knocking down my door. Last year, we kept selling out one market every week, and I had 5 other markets that were begging me to come, waive fees, do whatever, please come sell mushrooms. It's the #1 demand that we have at every one of our markets. And the same thing with our grow kits. I posted a beta test of our grow kits the first day that we put them out for sale. And I had 3 people before the farmer's market even opened, because I took the picture at the farmer's market, posted it on social media, and I had 3 people in my inbox being like, hey, we'll take 6, we'll take 12. Can you deliver? I'll come pick them up. Yeah, so I definitely understand the high growth, and especially from the banking perspective. Yeah.
One more question.
Yes,
Sure.
quick question here. You're an all indoor facility, is that correct?
Right now, yes.
Okay.
I go into detail.
You're going to expand that. Of course, I look at zoning, and
Yeah.
one of the challenges that we've had with some of our adjacent neighbors down in Lacey is the mushroom factory down there, or growing facility, and the pungent smell that they have there. How are you figuring on controlling that?
To clarify your question, and I don't mean to put them on blast, are you talking about Ostrom?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% with their process, but I am familiar. I do believe that they use certain ingredients that are known to have smells. We actually use, these are all Second Life. So this is oak sawdust. They're put into pelletized form, and so they're actually, the mushrooms will digest those significantly faster. And then these are soybean hulls. This is agricultural waste, but not that kind of agricultural waste, which we mix these together with water. That's it. And so
if I
we
walk
don't
into
have any
your
smell.
facility, it'll smell like.
I live in a townhome right now, and my garage is, 460 square feet. You would not know walking out that I grow mushrooms. I haven't got a single complaint. I'm sure I give my neighbors mushrooms, but there's not a scent. There's no scent. In fact, if anything, if there's ever a scent, is when we're actually making our spawn, which is rye grain, which I think you guys may know what rye grain's typically used for, right? Cereal, bread. So it actually kind of smells good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is that it? Cool. I'm happy to answer any questions afterward as well. Thank you so much, both judges and everyone else. I want to say one last thing. It is a true inspiration to be in here with so many other fantastic companies. I feel like I've already won just being able to compete at this level with each and every one of the other businesses that made it here. So thank you so much. We're truly grateful.